Welcome to our podcast, Health and Wellness in Our Community. Today's first guest is Tricia Jenkins. Could you introduce yourself to our guest, please?
I'd be happy to. Hi, Gerri. My name is Tricia Jenkins, and I am a registered nurse. I'm also a certified nurse in emergency room nursing, and I'm happy to be here today.
Our first question I'd like to ask you is, how does one find the perfect doctor for them?
I started by asking people for a referral to a doctor. It's how I came about finding mine, but I also work with doctors and nurses. So I think another good place to start is to look on the internet. I think representation matters in medical care, and looking for somebody that you would feel comfortable with is a good start.
And what are some things that one should look for as far as?
I think that has to do with personal choice. I prefer somebody who is a woman, a person of color, somebody that I would feel talking to about issues that are specific for me, but that's not for everyone.
Right. So, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month this month. So, what age group should one start to do a self-examination for breast care?
Also, a very good question, Gerri. I think that we should actually start teaching our girls to examine their breasts at an early age. I think prevention is key when we're talking about breast cancer in our community, and I think it's never too young to start to get to know yourself, to get to know your body and what it looks like and feels like. So I would say we start young, but professionally, I would say women should start getting a mammogram around the age of 40, but also dependent on your genetic variability. If you have a grandma who had breast cancer, or you have a mom or an auntie who had breast cancer, there are genetic tests available today that can help predetermine whether you're susceptible to breast cancer. So then I would say if you have a family history, or you feel something suspicious in your breast, no age is too young to start screening yourself.
So where can one go for the best health care in our community?
I think we should start by looking for community healthcare clinics. We have a lot of accessible healthcare right here in King County. I would suggest, if you're looking to initiate healthcare, Country Doctor, there's Odessa Brown Clinic. Those are community health clinics. Then there's private health clinics where you would look for a PCP in your community. So those are two good places to start.
Places like CMAR.
CMAR is a good place to start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's lots of places right here in our community that will be willing to accept new patients.
Right. What's the importance of getting checkups?
It's highly important to get checkups. I would say the number one cause of death in breast cancer is late detection.
Right.
And so I think as community and women of color, we need to start encouraging each other to use preventative health instead of waiting until it's too late. So I think having regular screenings, doing your own self-screening exams is highly important, because it's all about prevention. We don't want to wake up and find out that we have a diagnosis of stage 4 breast cancer.
Right.
We want to go in immediately as soon as we find something suspicious and have a doctor look at it.
Okay. Well, Trish, thank you for coming and sharing us your knowledge. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming.
I love you, Gerri. Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
You're welcome. Our next guest is Adrian Mease with Fentanyl Awareness Organization. Adrian, could you introduce yourself to our guest today?
Yes, I am the founder of a nonprofit called Fentanyl Awareness, which is the first black nonprofit to ever fight against fentanyl in the whole United States, not just that, the world.
Okay.
And our mission is to educate the community on the dangers of fentanyl and drug overdose. Be that I lost 11 people, I just want to make a change in the community, So because it can happen to your mother, it can happen to your father, your sister, brother. Everybody's vulnerable to the dangers of fentanyl and drug overdose.
Yes.
So
Right.
if we don't, then who will? You know?
Right. How can one tell if your teen is on fentanyl?
The smell, first thing, it smelled like, some people do fentanyl, some people just take it, but most definitely people, the smell, and like if you see a lot of straws missing around your house, 9 times out of 10, and a lot of pens missing. So basically it's about the look, the smell. If they're sleeping long periods of days, they sleep all day, probably, get up and go back to sleep, or if they're gone for a long period of time,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much
Telltale signs.
yeah, it's pretty much a telltale sign is their actions, and also if they're absent in school as well, just check up on them, ask them, see if they're okay. Also, drug tests, test your kids, So that's the main thing to really know is just through a drug test. So
Right, and they can get an over-the-counter drug test at Walgreens.
yes, you can
Correct.
Walgreens, Walmart, wherever, Dollar Tree.
Right.
All that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Dollar Tree sells the drug testing kits. now.
Yes, they do. They
Wow.
sure do.
What are some of the side effects of fentanyl?
Some of the side effects of fentanyl are nodding off. What I was told was lack of appetite. The sleeping patterns change. Their sleep standing up. A lot of people sleep standing up. A lot of them, because it's a downer and it's a opioid, it has a lot like the equivalent to heroin.
Right.
Or lean with codeine or something. So it's all in the same category. It's just a little bit stronger.
Street name, lean.
Yeah, lean, codeine, but it's
Codeine.
not that. That's different drugs. But
Okay.
they are opioid drugs.
Okay.
And also, it's one that's worse than that. That people like. If you shoot yourself, it's called trank. You feel what I'm saying? It's horse tranquilizer with fentanyl.
Uh-huh.
And that one, it's a zombie. Like
Oh.
that right there, you shoot yourself, it's totally different. It's
Okay.
like, but it's night and day to my, cause I go and I see these people every day. It's like night and day. The trank is night and day. It's like zombie. People be eating eating faces off and everything. That's what I'm hearing. But I see a lot of things dealing with trank. So trank is worse to me.
It's called trank?
Yeah, trank.
Trank. Okay.
Yeah, to me, it's worse than that. And one is actually worse than that is crocodile. But, it's just crazy. But it all starts with the fentanyl.
Yes, I'm not familiar with the new drugs they have out on the streets now,
Yes.
but I'm noticing that they do have a lot of people that are what they say are walking around in the zombie look. So,
Yes.
and this is because of the side effect of the drug.
Yes.
It's taking away their motor skills.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's so addictive. It's sad. It's so addictive where you got people that wants to get off of it, but the what they call the MDMA in their mind or something like that. The addiction is so strong, vastly in their mind. It's just they can't get off of it. It's like if they miss a day, they get sick. Compared to somebody on crack or something like that. Where the withdrawal is much more stronger than it would be like crack or something like that. Because my opinion, I think that crack was not. Crack ain't as bad as today.
As today.
So
yeah.
like
As
it's
fentanyl.
crazy. Yeah.
Crack is not as bad as fentanyl is what they say.
That's what they say, but
Yeah.
it's just so many people have died vastly off of the use fentanyl. That's why this is so serious. You got 17-year-olds, you got 14-year-olds at the bus stop smoking fentanyl. You got this. It's just sad. You feel me?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's very sad, and it's sad to see our youth taking to this drug like this.
Yes.
And not understanding the effects that it's doing to them in their body.
Yes.
Yeah, in their mind. How do we help them get help?
By reaching out. The first thing they have to do is accept the fact that they have a problem. Some people say that they want it and they don't want to take the steps to help themselves. They got to help themselves because God helped those who help themselves. I'm sorry, I believe in the Most High.
Oh,
or
yeah,
believe in
yeah.
God, but they gotta want to help. But then they gotta Another thing is isolation. I think isolation is the biggest key, because if you put somebody, say for example, if you got a group of people that they sweep off the streets, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They sweep off the streets, and then they put them in rehab or jail for 3 to 5 days, and they put them back in that same environment. What you think they're gonna do?
Right.
They're gonna go back
That's
to
the
the
same
same
thing.
situation.
Yeah.
But if they was on an isolated, if they was in an isolated location, they'll be able to think and get their mind off of that. But if you're around the same environment, you're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, gonna go right back to addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like not just the addicts, as well, the drug dealers. We got to relocate their mind as well and give them different ultimatums and different business ideas, because they're good businessmen, just in a bad
Yes,
field.
yeah.
You know, drug dealers are good businessmen, but in a bad field.
Correct. And I totally agree with you on that. Well, Adrian, thank you for coming. Is there a place where we can refer people to for fentanyl addiction? Is there somewhere that you know of that we can refer, that one can refer their student, child, family member?
Yes. Usually, because we do outreach, I usually direct them to 211. Not just that, it's also a couple places that, it's a couple rehab centers that I utilize in northern Washington. But also you can contact me for more information on my website, stopdrugoverdosetoday.org, or my number, 206-295-3683, or email me at fentanylAwareness281@gmail.com. So these are my contact informations if you want more outreach information on how to prevent, or any Narcans test strips, and also for any future event planning. So, and also, one more thing. I'm sorry about that.
No, please get it out there. We want it out there.
Founder Adrian Mease on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all the other social media. All the other social media processes, and peace and love.
Thank you for coming, Adrian. I appreciate you.
Already, rock steady. We out of here.
Our next guest is Ronnue McThomas. Ronnue, could you tell the guest about yourself?
Yeah. Well, professionally, I've been in the education field for about 8 years now with Seattle Public Schools, but I've been working with the youth for 30 plus years, since I've been about 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
That is one of my passions. I love seeing where the youth start out and where we get them to in the end.
Okay. What are some of the things you are seeing in the high school now with our youth? Where can we help them be more successful?
I think technology and social media can be a blessing and a disguise. I mean, a blessing and a hindrance.
And a curse?
Yeah,
Blessing and a curse?
Blessing and a curse.
Yes,
You know what I was trying to say. Yeah. So, with everything that's going on within the world, and you never know when we're going to have an emergency, I think it is a good thing for our youth to have access to their cell phones, right? But if I had my way, the parents would have it to where they could only access just them during school hours.
Mm-hmm.
And what is happening is causing a lot of social and emotional problems with our kids, because they're so used to being on their cell phones, and they're shutting out the world with that, right? You remember back in our day, we would actually go outside and play and interact with each other,
Yes.
interact with our parents. The kids don't do that now.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's a problem. I think we need to find the perfect balance with technology and teaching our kids when to use it, not to use it, and not using it as a tool.
Yeah, they're so addicted to the phone right now. I mean, we all are. Everyone's addicted to our phones.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you leave home, you're like, I got to go back. You get halfway down the road, and I got to go back. I forgot my phone. You know, and who used to do that?
Yeah.
You know, your phone used to stay stationary at home.
And let me tell you what type of problems it's causing. It's causing the kids have a lot of anxiety.
Anxiety,
problems now.
yes.
You know, they're not connecting with each other in
Right.
the world now. You know, it's causing a lot of mental health problems.
Exactly. What are some of the ways that we can try and get them to let the phone go, let the computer go, enjoy life. Talk to your friend, talk to your neighbor, go outside.
It starts back with the parents and the home life. Now, do you remember back in our day when we were growing up, at least in my family and a lot of my friends' family, dinner time, my mom and dad made us sit at the table. We had to turn off the TV. We actually interacted with each other. Now I notice people don't eat dinner together, and everybody's in their different rooms on their phones or their video games and stuff like that. So I think one way is let's have that family time where we just turn off the technology and we actually converse with each other.
Yeah, because I literally had my kids upstairs. I'm upstairs and they're downstairs, and they're texting me, "Mom, what's for dinner?" or "Mom," instead of just come upstairs. So I think everyone's taking technology for granted right now and doing.
Or like I said, they're using it as a crutch.
Yeah.
I have a lot of my younger brothers and sisters, they use their cell phones and tablets as babysitters.
Right.
They will give their young kids these tablets instead of actually hiring babysitters or whatever.
Yeah, I actually did babysat one of my girlfriend's daughters not too long ago, and I totally just put my phone right by her ear and had her in my arm, and she loved all the wee-hoos and the ding-dings and the ABC singing and all that stuff. So it is a good mind catcher for them, but I don't think it's helpful for them.
We got to find that balance,
Yeah.
Because we are moving into a digital world, and AI is becoming something that's really becoming a reality, right?
Yeah.
And so the kids do need to know how to work the technology, but they need to have the balance on when to turn it off and disconnect from it.
Yes, disconnect from it. Well, good. Well, thank you, Ronnue, for coming. I appreciate you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about what you do?
Well, like I said, my 9-to-5 job is working in education. I'm currently in school to get all my certifications, degrees. My end goal is to end up in the admin side. Outside of that, I do music, so my music and working with the youth are my two passions.
Oh, good deal. Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that concludes our segment of health and wellness in our community. We hope that you got a little something out of that. Like I said, this was our first one. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. I am the director, Gerri Hill, of Your Perfect Trade, located at 700 Southwest Place in Renton, Washington, 98057.